I never confronted her. Not when I first uncovered the truth. Not the following morning. Not even in the weeks that followed. I moved through the house as if nothing had shifted, carrying a silence heavier than any words I could have demanded. I stayed quiet, not out of strength, but because a betrayal had shattered me in a way that made noise impossible. I told myself she had already moved on, that I was nothing more than a chapter in her story. She closed that chapter without hesitation. Then, months later, in the middle of a crowded street, I heard my name slip from her lips. Some goodbyes never stay buried. It came as a careless message on her phone. A text I wasn't supposed to see, but did anyway. Last night shouldn't have happened. It said, "But I can't stop thinking about you." Written by someone I didn't know. Someone who clearly had claimed a piece of her I thought was mine alone. I held her phone in my hand, trembling slightly, the air around me thick with what I couldn't name. Yet I didn't confront her. Why? Because I already knew. I knew the late-night absences, the quiet withdrawals, the tiny lies woven into her smiles. This wasn't just emotional cheating. It was a slow, quiet theft of my heart. I had lost her long before that message. So I stayed silent. I locked my feelings away, hiding them behind every smile I offered. When she left weeks later, I didn't stop her. She said she needed time to figure things out. I nodded, not out of agreement, but because I had no energy left to beg for her love. She walked away with barely a glance back, leaving me frozen in the remnants of a life that had once felt full. Silence became my shield, my only way to survive. When someone you love chooses another, questions stop mattering. You live with answers that will never come. And slowly, quietly, I rebuilt myself. There were no dramatic breakthroughs, no cinematic recoveries. Just mornings steeped in half-read books and coffee that never quite warmed me. Her absence lingered like dust, impossible to see but impossible to ignore. Then, that afternoon at a busy street festival, I heard it, my name, soft and hesitant but unmistakable. I turned, and there she was, alone, hair tied back, a nervous tremor in her eyes I hadn't seen since the beginning. Our gazes collided, and in that moment, she looked like she'd seen a ghost. Perhaps she had, because I was no longer the man she left behind, and she was no longer the woman I had loved. I wasn't sure it was you, she said, voice trembling. I didn't speak. The words I had carried for months suddenly felt meaningless. She looked at me, then away, then back again. I owe you more than an apology, she whispered. But I don't expect you to want it. The world went on around us, music, laughter, life, and there we stood, two incomplete stories colliding in a crowd that didn't care about our past. I never stopped thinking about you, she admitted, voice breaking, even when I pretended I had. I finally spoke. You already had the truth. That was enough. Her eyes glistened with tears. I made a mistake, she said softly, and I've regretted it every day since. I looked at her and saw it. No pride, no excuses, just unvarnished regret. In that instant, all the love I had once felt came rushing back. The laughter, the nights spent dreaming of forever. But I also felt the weight of months spent alone, nights steeped in quiet pain. I forgive you, I said softly, deliberately, but I don't want to go back. She exhaled, a quiver in her lip. I didn't come here to ask you to, she said. I just needed to know if I was still someone you could forgive. And in that moment, I realized I had healed. Forgiveness wasn't about erasing the past. It was about releasing myself from it. She gave me a small, honest smile. A final acknowledgement would have been lost and vanished into the crowd. No embrace, no promises, no second chances, just peace. To anyone who has been betrayed and remains silent, you don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight to be seen. Sometimes the deepest healing comes from walking away quietly, letting the pain fade on its own. And if they whisper your name someday, let it remind you how far you've come. Your peace is worth more than anyone's regret.